Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to the couch. Kaiser is out for a hike this morning and running some errands with Mom. So he's not here today, but John is here on the microphone just across from the couch, missing my little buddy Kaiser. But we have a lot to go through today and talk about, and some of it pleasant, some of it not so pleasant. But we do have a large visit into Stupid Town coming to you today because there's more and more stupidity taking place in and around this country and around the world today than you can shake a stick at. But before we get into anything, let me just talk about something that was rather upsetting to me yesterday, Wednesday, that Mamdani gets off of the communist that is running for mayor of New York, which will actually kill the city of New York if allowed to happen. Shows up from Uganda or wherever the heck he was, gets off an airplane, and then decides to use this mass shooting that took place in Midtown Manhattan the other day as a springboard for his political aspirations in the city of New York. He ran out to join the family of the slain officer that lost his life in this shooting and started hugging the father and came into a press conference and utilized the entire shooting and backpedaled on everything he has said in the past about defunding the police and about getting rid of departments such as their squad that took care of this incident. And now he's all about the NYPD. Well, most of the people and some of my relatives that worked as police officers in New York will quickly tell you they're not buying that kind of nonsense from this guy. He is a bad seed, and a seed that's planted in New York that has no business being in the contention even for running the city of New York. It is a death warrant to New York. This guy is such a hypocrite that he would use these shootings to benefit his political advantages over Cuomo or Adams or anybody. Adams is an ex-police officer and understands what law and order is. Mamdani over there, the Commie, does not get a clue of what it takes to run a city the size of New York City. Is one of the largest cities in the world and one of the most important cities in the world, and he wants to dry it up and let it blow away to other cities. And that's our financial areas, and everything else will be included in that. If you stop, look, and listen to the people, either the ex-police that are on these news programs trying to reason with the talking heads that give you misinformation every day, you'll quickly realize that this guy is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a communist trying to bring socialism into the United States, and he wants to start with the biggest city we have and ruin that, along with whoever he can get put on the city council that will go along with the ideas of installing communism into the state of New York. And the governor of New York, that chipmunk-faced liar that she is going right along with him in lockstep on trying to ruin the state of New York as well as New York City. She is an idiot and should not be in that position. And if it wasn't for Cuomo's mess up, she wouldn't be there. And if anybody in New York of voting age would go to a poll and vote these people in, then they deserve what they get. And it's not going to be pretty, folks. Not at all. And that is the rant for today on the hypocrite Mamdani, or what, Zoe somebody, whatever his name is. He needs to go back to where he was in Uganda or wherever the heck he comes from and utilize his wrong political aspirations in a country that will accept that. But the United States of America has a population that is nowhere near ready for socialism. Enough of that. So that brings us to the media that goes along heroizing this guy. And why? We don't know. Other than the fact that the Democrats are hanging their hat on people like he and others of that nature, usually the foreign aspect that sits in our Congress, to bring this kind of socialism into our mainstream and think that they're going to get away with it. And CNN is the biggest proponent of lies that can be spread out, only surpassed by Morning Jackass over there on MSNBC and the likes of the rest of the crew on MSNBC that follow the party line. News is something that should be given to you as it happens without a slant, either to the right side or the left side. It's just news. It's things that took place that you may or may not need to know about. But to have to slant the news and read off a piece of paper someone else's opinions rather than allowing you to make your own opinions is the disgusting part of journalism as they call it today. We have no journalists anymore on the TV, on the news, or any like of that. And that is clear and present. And, these people just do not have a clue of what's really going on. And it's quite evident. Let's take a look here.
The very jobs that Donald Trump says are going to come back are the jobs that America doesn't need. America needs high-paying, high-skilled, digital, a new age, AI-based economy. What he's talking about bringing back is old style. Basically, look.
Well, no,
here is a shoe. It's my shoe, right? It is made in China.
It comes from China.
You talked about these luxury products.
They are.
Right, but you take your shoe off and see where it's made.
Yes.
Made in China, made in Vietnam. This is going to be 34% more expensive. It's an ordinary shoe bought in a discount store. Just think about it. A week ago, we got this plan. We didn't get a plan that said, come to me in 90 days and you'll do it. We got a plan. April the 9th is the deadline. April the 9th came. Tariffs came in. And suddenly, tariffs 90 days away. Who's to say it's going to change tomorrow? Or the next day, or 3 weeks' time. No, the underlying policy prescription hasn't altered. All that's happened is the capriciousness of the execution has become all the more clear. So a recession, highly, highly likely still.
Well, I would just like to go back. I'd like to build a DeLorean and go back to April when everybody here was predicting likely to cause a recession. Investment stops and a recession happens. They're not talking about a U.S. recession. They're talking about a global recession.
What was happening in April,
lead to recession. Eventually, there being a reception.
Very cleverly. If he's chosen to...
I just want to point out.
Just a second,
You called the recession.
You
took your shoe off.
And Joe, would you like to see that again?
You took your shoe off. You brought cookies out here.
15% shoe.
You took your shoe off and you said there was going to be a recession.
Listen, Scott,
GDP is 3%.
It's too early to give a final verdict.
All right, Scott,
It's too early. Just a second, Abby. He's basically calling me out here. It's too early to give a final verdict on the tariffs. You don't know what you're talking about, do you? Back in April, back in April.
You guys are so mad. Why are you rooting for failure? Why does this table root for failure?
Please, because you are saying that you are taking a number of 40, 50, 60% back in April, and you're comparing it to a number of 10, 15% now.
Fine. But it's a strategy to negotiate and create leverage,
Scott,
and give us the situation we're in today.
Okay, here's Michael. I will let you talk, but I just have to say, completely disingenuous.
The nerve of her.
To suggest
I'm sorry,
that, hold
you
on,
were the
Scott,
one calling
please,
for a recession
just
in
give
April, not me.
Give me 1 second.
You called for it.
Give me 1 second. Please let me finish. It is completely disingenuous to suggest that what economists said would happen if Trump imposed 50 and 60%, let's jump all the way up to 135% level tariffs on this economy would have been a recession. Those levels never happened, which is why there has been no recession.
You sound
so
disappointed.
it's not that complicated.
I want to hear you say.
Who's my I didn't hear that. Did you hear that?
No.
I couldn't hear anything. We can't hear. Who's my
So, well, CNN gets caught now right out with the lies in the open, which is very interesting. But they just make it up as they go in some cases. Let's take a look down south here to Atlanta. What is happening in Atlanta? Empire Park is like a shooting gallery.
The shooting at Empire Park marked the start of a very violent four-day stretch across the city.
Since Thursday afternoon, more than 35 people have been shot and at least 5 were killed. The latest shooting happening just last night involving 11 victims in the Sweet Auburn neighborhood.
Gun violence rocked Atlanta over the last 4 days. At least 37 people shot, 5 people killed. The spike in shootings included 2 mass shootings. 6 people shot at Empire Park Thursday night. One of those victims died, and 11 people shot just after 1:30 a.m. Monday here on Edgewood Avenue.
I'm telling you, this place is perfect. You're gonna make friends in no time.
Get me out of here! Here, just eat that! Leave us alone!
Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum says they recovered close to 40 shell casings. Police believe a group, 3 men and a woman, started the gunfight.
Gun violence affects every citizen of Atlanta, regardless of what neighborhood you live in or where you are.
Especially business owners along Edgewood Avenue. Johnny Martinez co-owns Joystick Game Bar.
You need to make sure we have people down here after everything's closed to help move people on. There's no need for anyone sticking around partying on the street.
And tonight we learned just between Saturday and Monday morning here, this morning, the early hours, 15 people were shot within just feet of each other here on Edgewood Avenue.
So really, research suggests that there is a strong correlation between these hot temperatures as well as mental health. And this certainly is top of mind as the city deals with the recent spate of shootings.
Are you serious?
This all happening as Atlanta deals with temperatures feeling like more than 100 degrees.
We have several studies that show when the heat goes up, mental health can kind of go down.
Some doctors are citing research that proves there is a correlation between some of the crimes we're seeing in the middle of this summer heat.
There's kind of a correlation between any type of violent crime. It includes robberies, especially on particularly unexpected hot days, aggravated assaults, homicides even.
It's a little snack, yeah.
It's a war zone as of the last few days. Started last Thursday with all these shootings that are taking place in Atlanta. And then you have people that are coming out supposedly in the know with the idea that it's because of the summer heat that this has taken place. You know, years ago, even when I was young, if you said something like that when I lived in the city of New York, you would have been chastised for saying something that ridiculous. But here it is. It's not only news media, it's city officials that are going to tell you the same damn thing. It's unbelievable what's going on, and it's just going to arm the left side of the aisle to start screaming one more time about handling the gun situation in the United States and how to ban guns, and we need to ban them because they're bad. But banning guns from legal individuals that may use them to protect their own families and themselves is one thing. And the other part of it is that you have the ridiculousness of the fact that all the criminals that, especially some of the illegal criminals that have entered into this country, have no problem in coming up with guns. Whether they get them through the border or other places, it happens. And gun violence will continue as long as we have a criminal element that is allowed. And Kaiser is back right now, so he's here to bark a little bit for us. But anyway, that's what's going on in Atlanta, and it's quite frightening that it will take place in other cities around if allowed to continue with the type of, let's just say, rhetoric that comes out of both our Congress and our media, who propounds fighting against everything Donald Trump, fighting against everything this administration wants to provide for us, and then lie about it and blame it on someone else. Well, that brings us to talk a little bit about the congressional stock trades that have been very, very quite lucrative for some individuals sitting in congressional seats that have done very, very well on the backs of the stock market, because they have an inside track of knowing what laws are going to be passed, what's coming, where it's going to happen, and when it's going to happen.
Now, are you a second-tier senator?
Well, that's not the worst thing that's been said about me even today, Jesse. So listen, I had a good chat with the president earlier this evening, and he reiterated to me he wants to see a ban on stock trading by people like Nancy Pelosi and members of Congress, which is what we passed today. I think it is absolutely vital we put a stop to this. Pelosi shouldn't just be investigated. She should be prosecuted. And we need to make what she is doing and other members of Congress is doing illegal. I mean, you shouldn't be able to go up to Congress and get rich by trading on information that only you have and not members of the public. Right now, lots of members of Congress are getting by with it. We need to make the whole thing illegal.
So when you spoke to the president, did he explain why he called you second tier?
Well, I think that the president, a number of people who are opposed to banning stock trading had said to the president that he would be covered by the bill. He'd have to sell Mar-a-Lago and sell assets. Not the case at all. The president and the vice president, all their assets are totally exempted. And here's the point. This is what we talked about. The point of this bill is to ban members of Congress from trading on the information that only they have. I've supported this bill for years, Jesse. I think we call it the Pelosi Act. It is named for her because she is the poster child of this kind of behavior. It ought to be illegal and it ought to be prosecutable.
So what Pelosi will say is that she doesn't manage any money. Her husband manages the money. Her husband makes the trades, and she has nothing to do with it. Does this bill have a loophole that she can exploit again?
Yeah, no, in fact, this bill will cover not only her, it will cover her husband. And the point is we need to make it illegal for people to do this kind of thing. 86% of Americans look at stock trading by members of the Congress and they say, we ought to ban that. They can't believe it's not been banned already. Nobody should be up in Congress making a quick buck day trading when they should be doing the people's business. The president wants a stock trading ban. I want a stock trading ban. It's time to get it done.
All right. Sounds like common sense to me. Senator Hawley, great to talk to you. Thank you again.
Well, Congress is now talking about an investigation into that, and we'll see where that goes. We all know that Nancy Pelosi has done very, very well for herself, and let's take a brief look here.
You know, why people don't trust, and I think Speaker Pelosi is the prime example. So this amendment calls for an inspector general to issue a GAO report on the Pelosi trading for the last 25 years. As we know, we're doing this because we've watched people that it sure appears that they have somehow figured out how to make a lot of money off their job up here in Congress. So my amendment is to get a review of all the trading by Nancy Pelosi and her husband for the last 25 years. I think it's critical to get to the root of why this bill was proposed and get transparency for the American people. I think. I agree that we've got to figure out, why people don't trust, and I think Speaker Pelosi is the prime example. So this amendment calls for an inspector general to issue a GAO report on the Pelosi trading for the last 25 years with a report back to the committee within 180 days. I urge my colleagues to support my amendment.
For the children.
So they continue to want to be in Congress for one reason and one reason only, to make sure that they have the wealth that is needed to survive. If they should lose their seat in Congress, they can live the life of Riley wherever they end up, in whatever lobbyist job they end up with, that will also enrich them to a point that you will never be able to realize. So that is enough, really, when you think about today and the things that are going on, especially with these shootings, that politicians will utilize as a springboard for them to get your vote, because they'll make you believe that they're going to do something about it. Career politicians are not a thing that we need, and we should never look toward them to be a help for us. They're there to help themselves. It's become very evident over the years, and it's even more evident when you look at the goings-on that take place in this country right now that afford us to put an exit in for Stupid Town. And let's take that exit right now. It's going to be a long one today, but we'll have a look around and see just how crazy things really are.
There's no hope. There's no more hope. Everything is fucked. This world is terrible, and it's men's fault. And I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this. There's no one to call. Like, I have no one. I'm scared. I'm not going to make it. And I know it. I'm not. I don't want to. I've been suffering for too long. I mean, I got sober, and it's not worth it. Like, sobriety sucks. Because I'm surrounded by alcoholics, aka men. Everything is men's fault. Everything. Everything.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Tiernan, and on Saturday after leaving the No Kings protest, I was struck and injured by a motor vehicle while leaving the protest. The cops here in Catskill, New York, took several days to get an accident report together. And they would not give me any information. They never interviewed me after the accident. I've been asking for information for days because I've been very traumatized by this event. And now, in order to re-traumatize me, the cops here in Catskill are telling me that it's my fault that I put my human body in the street to be hit by a motor vehicle. The people in the motor vehicle actually got out and started screaming in my face after they had struck me. I spent the rest of the day in the hospital having x-rays and MRIs, CAT scans on my pelvis and on my head. And they never came to check on me. They never came to ask me any questions. They never did anything. And now they're giving me a citation for being in the road. So, honestly, I think that's a bunch of crap. And I'm very, very upset because I want to press criminal charges against this person who hit me. And the cops just handed me a fucking citation saying that it's my fault, that my fragile human body got hit by a motor vehicle after the protest. I have not yet seen the videos. They refuse to show them to me without a FOIL request, which of course I will file. That's all I have to say for now. But protect and serve? I don't think so.
Really want to leave America and I don't know where to go or how. If anybody knows anything that fits these 4 categories that I'm looking for, please let me know. It would be so helpful. First, public transit, very important. Obviously I can drive, but I don't want to have a car to live, which is what you need to do in America, and it's really annoying. I recently went to Japan. That was awesome. That would be amazing if I don't need a car to live my life. 2, social safety nets are great. I'm scared to live in America. I don't know how people do it. Like, without free healthcare or socialized healthcare, it's crazy to me that people live here at all. So something like that would be lovely. Number 3, I'm queer. I want to go somewhere where I'm safe. I know Japan, gay marriage isn't legal. Same thing in like China. But I do think living in those places would still be fine. So I'm willing to compromise on gay marriage, but I definitely need to be safe. 4, diversity, if possible, would be great. I'm incredibly lucky that I've grown up in Southern California. I know I'm not going to find anything like that somewhere else, which is unfortunate because like that's probably the best part of America and that's what they're trying to get rid of right now. But I just don't think I could live anywhere where there's like one group of people. That'd be crazy. I think I would go crazy. So if anybody knows anywhere to go or how, it'd be so much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Let's just start simply with the accusation that President Trump has leveled at you. Were you paid for an endorsement?
Well, absolutely not. And as
I've had enough of this nonsense.
As the FEC filings say, they helped the campaign, gave funds for Get Out the Vote campaigns for National Action Network, of which I'm a part of.
If you don't stop talking shit to me.
And other civil rights groups, some which got more than National Action Network did. National Action Network, nor I, even endorsed her. What is interesting about this, though, is that the fact that this is as you accurately reported, second or third time, lawyers for National Action Network was looking at, can we sue him for defamation? Because he had knowledge this time that there was no endorsement and that I didn't get any money. This went to the nonprofit that I'm connected to.
Ha, ha, ha.
social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law.
That doesn't even make any sense!
Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it distorts the content of what actually happened, and it makes our job more difficult.
First, how do you respond to that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that is untrue. Secondly, I can't stress this enough again. Okay, I get it. You don't want to place somebody who's undocumented. They're in the system. This is somebody who's working, milking your cows, taking care of your kids.
Milking your cows, taking care of your kids.
It's a weird thing to brag about.
So your moral code says to hell with them, they get nothing. Well, we could have that debate. They're still coming here and getting care uncompensated, and we're paying for it anyway. It's more expensive. That is the stupidest reason to do this that you could possibly put forward. It is cruel, and it's based on trying to play on people's emotions. That you know why the healthcare system is stressed? Some undocumented person is getting health care.
It's not doctor stuff, stupid. It's common sense.
And I would wish all of you challenge them on that. I'll let the folks tell you on this who gets kicked off this and who ends up getting hit by it. And I will note this, last one. Disabled veterans, up to 99%, are also considered under this, so they can get their lazy butts out there and work too, according to Tom Emmer.
How to fake like you are a nice and caring person.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany. And they could have had her said anything. She could have just said, I'm hot, drink my bathwater, here are my jeans. But instead they had her say, jeans are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My jeans are blue. Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen.
It is so difficult to grow up as a person of color, specifically a woman, and view yourself as beautiful in any sense of the word growing up in this country.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer.
I didn't ask to be the king of summer.
It just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened.
This tan? Genetics.
This tan? Genetics.
I just got my color analysis back. Guess what?
I just got my color analysis back. Guess what?
Golden summer.
Golden summer.
Body crazy, curvy weight. Yeah, yeah. Body crazy, curvy weight. Yeah, yeah.
Oh God, another thing that was crazy about Generation X, I don't even know if you can talk about this anymore, but we did this thing, it is so weird, okay. It was called critical thinking. And
That's our visit to Stupid Town today, and it's been quite the amusing jaunt through that town. But it is Thursday. I'm going to take a long weekend. There will not be a Friday Kaiser Report this week because I'm going to get out and about and have a little relaxation. And if I have a camera with me and see something worth putting up, I'll give you a weekend report. But until Monday, we're going to tell you, have a wonderful, wonderful long weekend and enjoy. And remember to pray. Remember to ask God to come into your heart and bring you peace, because you're not going to get the peace that you're looking for on mainstream media or platforms such as this. You will get it through the peace and the love of God and his Son, Jesus Christ. And with that, we're going to tell you to stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report next week for a more in-depth outlook at what's really going on in and around our country and the world. So until then, bye-bye, and God bless you all.
Bye.